This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
You know who I can do without? I can do without the people in the video store.
Which ones?
All of them.
This is Massive Late Fee with Mike and Mark.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me as always is my co-host Mike. How you doing, Mike?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Good. We've had a good week here at the show. We're building. We're growing. September 9th is what I'm hearing as far as when we'll start to have, or when we'll start going after sponsorship for the show. I'm also contacting Rode, the microphone maker, seeing if we can get some sweet merch from Rode. So
Nice.
I'll let you know how that goes. But news today, I've got some news. Leslie Jones is leaving Saturday Night Live. Did you see that story, Mike?
Yeah, I saw it somewhere.
Yeah, after 5 seasons. It's weird, too. It seems like she's been on.
Yeah, it seems like she's been on way more than 5 seasons.
Yeah, it really does.
Didn't that Ghostbusters movie come out at least 5 years ago? And if she was in that, and I think it was, she was on SNL all the time.
I think maybe it came out like 3 years ago or something.
Oh, it seems like a long time ago.
It really does. But apparently she may be in the new Coming to America movie. She's got a stand-up special that's coming to Netflix in 2020. And apparently she's going to host a reboot of Supermarket Sweep, the game show,
Huh.
on Netflix. That seems really weird to me, but...
That movie came out in 2016, by the way. Huh.
Wow, only 3 years. Seems like a lifetime ago.
Really does.
But yes, Supermarket Sweep. Do people even still go to supermarkets anymore?
Yeah, you'll just have your shipped person running down the aisle against their Meijer.com person.
I don't know if anyone saw that John Oliver story on Amazon and how their warehouse workers are worked. But basically, it's going to be that. It's a little too true to life. Work as hard and fast as you can for minimal gains. So yeah, I don't watch Saturday Night Live much anymore. I don't think you really do either.
No.
But I guess I'm not super broken up about her leaving just because I don't watch it. But I do like her in general. And, I think I'll be interested to see her stand-up special on Netflix and this Supermarket Sweep reboot. So, Mike, you're familiar with Richard Linklater, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
You like that Before Sunset and all that stuff. Well...
Yeah, I know. I didn't see those ones, though.
Oh, okay. But he famously took 12 years to make Boyhood, the film, and which I didn't like at all. Though I thought was incredibly boring, not worth 12 years of anyone's life. I think Richard Linklater is, in general, a okay filmmaker. I know if Chris listens to this, Chris Williams, who hosts, we're watching here over on the network as well. This is his favorite director, so I know he'll have a lot of words for me. But I think he's just fine, not great, not terrible, just fine. And there's a lot of his films I don't like. But he apparently is going to spend the next 20 years of his life making a film called Merrily We Roll Along, based on the Stephen Sondheim Broadway show, which is an adaptation from a Kaufman and Hart show, 1934, I believe. And it was a total flop as a stage production when it came out, because it tells a weird sort of switching narrative where parts of it take place in the past, parts of it take place in the present. parts of it take place in the what would be the future, I guess. And different people are playing different characters in it at different times, and it was very hard for audiences to kind of get their head around exactly what was going on because of the non-linear nature of the storytelling, the fact that the same an actor was playing two different characters at different times. They to fix some of these problems, which, by the way, if there's this many problems, maybe you didn't write a very good play. I'm just going to throw that out there.
So far, it sounds like a blockbuster to me.
Right. But apparently, what they did was they had everyone wear these red sweaters with their names, whatever the character's name was, emblazoned across the front of it in order to help differentiate who was playing who at what time. And now that's become an iconic part of the show somehow. So,
the kids in the hall originally, when there was a female character, they just had like a sweater they would like put on to indicate they were a female character. Like before they had a TV show, like when they did like on stage and such.
That's funny. But that you would have to kind of do that for a quick change on a stage show. You can't get into a wig and a bunch of prosthetics and stuff when you're doing a stage show.
Right. But
anyway, so he's going to spend the next 20 years of his life making this. I don't know. This doesn't. It's a It's another gimmick. When he decides I'm gonna do this gimmick thing, I don't know. It doesn't really seem to work out very well, at least as far as I'm concerned. We'll see. I guess we'll see in 20 fucking years. I assume that we'll be still on the air 20 years from now. So we'll cover it when it comes out, I guess.
It's weird how those contracts must work, I mean, how can you put like a child actor under like a 20-year contract?
Yeah, it seems really, really strange. Well, the last bit of news that I have is a trailer that came out for a Netflix film starring Zach Galifianakis. It's Between Two Ferns, the movie. Have you heard about this, Mike?
I've heard they were going to have a movie. I didn't know it was coming out soon.
Yeah, it is. Well, I saw the trailer. I think its release date is later this month, September 20th. Yeah, September 20th. That's when it's coming out. Basically, it's him hosting his show, and he's going on the road because I don't know. There's reasons. Anyway, I like Between Two Ferns. I haven't watched it like religiously or anything like that, but I'll tune in every once in a while, and it'll be in my recommendations on YouTube, and I'll watch a clip here and there, and it's generally pretty funny. I don't know if it can stretch to a feature-length film, but we'll see. I don't know.
I don't know. They should talk to the producers of It's Pat the Movie about that.
Yeah, exactly. But star-studded cast, obviously. Will Ferrell, Matthew McConaughey, Peter Dinklage, Chrissy Teigen, David Letterman, Jason Schwartzman, interesting, Tiffany Haddish, Paul Rudd, Rashida Jones, John Legend, Adam Scott. I like Adam Scott a lot. Brie Larson, John Hamm, Awkwafina, Haley Steinfeld. I don't know who that is.
It's got all of them.
John Cho. Keanu Reeves is in it.
Okay.
Chance the Rapper and Tessa Thompson. So, I like Letterman. I like Paul Rudd, who looks the same now as he did 30 years ago. We'll see. I mean, I'll definitely watch it because I generally like the show, and it's on Netflix, so it's real low energy for me to have to do it, which is everything that I want in life.
Yeah, no, I don't think it'll be a very good movie. I'll probably skip it.
All right, well, maybe I'll like it, and then I'll make you watch it, and then we can review it on here.
Yeah.
And then eventually we'll get invited to Between Two Ferns.
I don't know if that's how that works.
Who is Haley Steinfeld?
I have no idea. Jerry Seinfeld's brother?
I was thinking like Jerry Seinfeld's daughter or something.
Oh, it's a lady.
Yeah, Haley.
Well, Haley Joel Osment.
Oh, yeah, okay. I gotcha. So, True O'Brien is a cousin of hers. I don't know who the fuck that is either. Oh, Haley Steinfeld is an American actress and singer, Mike. You should know that. Her breakthrough role was as Maddie Ross in True Grit. She received a nomination for for Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. She did not win. She was in Ender's Game, Romeo and Juliet. They did
Who
not.
was she in an Ender's Game?
Ender. I don't know.
Oh, probably Petra.
She was Asa Butterfield. That's what she. Oh no. Yeah, you're right. She was Petra Arcanian.
Okay, I saw that.
Yeah. So that's who
Do
she.
not remember who she is.
That's who she is. She's done a lot of things as far as that. She's a fox. That's not a comment on how she looks. That's a movie she was in 2009. Directed by Cameron Sawyer.
Was that chainsaw guy?
Sure. I don't know what that means.
No, the guy from that movie with Mark Harmon, where it's like summer school.
Oh my god.
Remember that chainsaw guy?
I do.
He directs stuff, and his first name is Cameron. I don't think it's his last name though, but it could be.
Oh, Summer School. I love it. Cameron Sawyer does not have a Wikipedia apparently, because
it can't be him then.
yeah, anyone that was in Mark School or was in Summer School has got to have a Wikipedia. I think it is him.
No. This guy was also in Ski School.
Oh,
So he's not a one-hit wonder.
interesting. Well, here's his IMDb. Cameron Sawyer. Tim Timmerman, Hope of America. He produced that. What the fuck? So he's playing, well, he's an actor too. He's playing a chaperone in West Side Story, which is...
Oh, it's Dean Cameron who I'm thinking of.
Aw, damn it. It's not Cam Cameron?
No, it's not.
All right. Let's see. But he does have some acting credits. He was in Touched by an Angel. Played Howie.
Huh.
I don't know. Yeah, so and he was on... This is so weird. In 2009, he directed a fucking movie with a future Academy Award nominee. In 2019, 10 years later, he played a news reporter on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Huh.
That's not great. That's not a great career projection. I was directing movies. Now I'm doing a bit on a late night talk show. God damn. So poor Cameron Sawyer. Dean Cameron, though, quality guy.
He was on Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's pretty funny on that, too.
Oh, I watched an episode of that the other day where they find a dead guy.
Nice.
That's way back in season 1.
Yeah, I would just skip season 1 if I were you, but...
It's still funny.
It's not bad. It's not bad, but Danny DeVito just adds so much to it.
If only Rita... What the fuck? I can't think of her name.
Rhea Perlman?
Rhea Perlman. God, that joke would have worked so well if I remembered her name. If only Rhea Perlman believed that.
Yep.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked either way. Anyway,
No.
So now let's move on to let's do the dumpster diving. Let's get this shit out of the way.
Oh, yeah, that's more like a toilet noise, like the splash.
Right?
I don't know what good dumpster noise is. Well, diving. Diving. I can make the same noise. It makes sense now.
Meow. Yeah.
There we go. That's our noise.
Okay, there it is. Hey, Rode, send us a Procaster thing so I can put all these great sound effects into it, and then I can just, you know how your system works. Why am I telling you? Anyway, so dumpster diving. Today we watched Step by Step. And anyone that knows me or anyone that's ever watched anything I've done on YouTube or read anything I've ever written on Michigan Sports and Entertainment or looked deep into my eyes knows that I hate Step by Step. It's one of my least favorite shows. I think it's everything that's wrong with the 90s in a show. But that's what we watched this week. Mike, what did you think of this episode? We watched JT's World.
Yeah. Hey, I remember watching this during its initial run because I was a diehard Step by Step fan. Well, I watched all those shows that were on the lineup because I had nothing better to do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just shat all over one of your favorite shows.
No, it's not really. It does not hold up. Like, I haven't seen it in probably 20 years, and oh my god, is it bad. Mm-hmm. It was kind of funny because I remember ripping it when it came out. It was so obvious, and it's very obvious, and even references that's a ripoff of the popular Wayne's World sketch, which speaking of sketches, actually you can make a movie out of.
Right.
But yeah, so it's the entire thing is a complete ripoff of it. And I mean, they're just not even attempting to make up their own thing. Remember Wayne's World? It's on our show now.
Yep, exactly.
Watch it.
Exactly.
And what I did note that was missing in later seasons was when Cody, his sidekick, was playing guitar. The guitar was actually plugged in, which in later seasons of Step by Step, they don't even bother plugging in his guitar anymore. It's just this loud electric guitar, and you just don't even see it plugged in. They're like, yeah, we don't care. No one's paying attention to this.
Right. It's pretty obvious he's not playing that guitar.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, but yeah. So the show opens with JT saying that he's got his own show on public access, as he says, just like Wayne's World, and it's going to be called JT's World. Because creativity, I guess. And it's basically exactly the same format, like Mike's indicated. It's exactly the same as Wayne's World. All the catchphrases, I mean, it's a complete clone. And in walks Karen with her friend Jessie from Bayside High. It's Elizabeth, and I looked it up because I wanted to see how close this was to striptease. Since they were talking about how how great she looked and everything, I was like, oh, I wonder how. But no, this was on when Saved by the Bell was on. This was during the 4th season of Saved by the Bell.
But you mean Showgirls, by the way?
Oh yeah, what did I say?
Striptease. My wife is probably clenching her fist at you as we speak.
Yeah, those are two very different films. She was still in Saved by the Bell at this point, but they're JT's fawning all over her. I want to point out too, at the beginning of this, the very first thing that happens is weird as fuck. So, Patrick Duffy says to the other one, Dana Berger, how am I supposed to clean this nonstick pan? She's sitting down eating her breakfast. It looks like cereal and orange juice. And he tricks her basically into, quote unquote, showing him how to do it and getting her to do it. And then he sits down and he starts eating her breakfast. It's so weird. I rewound it because I was like, were there two bowls on the table? No, he just sits down and then he starts eating the food that's there.
Maybe they actually did switch out of a bowl, in real life when they cut, But yeah, why would that's even weird for the character to just eat her after her?
Yeah, it's so strange.
I don't know about you, but I wouldn't even eat after my own children. They're just they're so
no.
They don't contain food properly, or they're saliva properly, and they never wash their hands, and it just grosses me out.
Me too. I don't like to. My wife will sometimes eat after our kids, and she's like, "Oh, it's the same germs and everything." I'm like, "Not anymore. Maybe when they were 9 months old, but not now." I will not do that. It grosses me out. But anyway, so I just thought that was really weird.
Yeah.
So
another part that's really weird is Cody is probably he's at least 18, maybe in his 20s, and Dana is still in high school.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which I never really thought of when I originally watched the show.
Yeah, Dana's 15 or 16 years old.
Yeah, but he's like, hey, his uncle's stepdaughter. That's who he's trying to fuck.
Yep.
The whole time, and he's like, probably way too old.
Yeah, the babe of the week or whatever he calls her later. But so he does his show, and he invites. So here's another thing that's very creepy. He says, Mark, the geek, the little geek kid, says that, like Elizabeth Berkley's real pretty or whatever. And everyone's surprised. And he says, yeah, I'm really scared of girls, but I like hearing about them. And JT says, well, with any luck, I'll have pictures. And then he goes out, he tricks he tricks Karen into going upstairs thinking she's got a pimple on her forehead. And then starts talking to Elizabeth Berkley, casually drops in that he's got his own TV show. As he said earlier, anyone with money could get a cable access show. So it's not like it's an accomplishment. But she says she'll do anything to be on TV. And it's like I could see a twinkle in Harvey Weinstein's eye as JT was like, oh, anything? Come sit on this couch.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was like, viewed from today's perspective, it was pretty bad.
Did they cut to the door closing?
Yeah, and then and all of a sudden, it looked like someone spilled some pancake batter on some plants. So they do the show, and she gets invited on to interview. I guess I don't know what they're talking about. They don't really show that part. They just show the craziness. Oh, party on, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's like literally the only thing that happens in the whole show is they say party and they like cut to like Cody. It seems like Cody's playing like the guitar for like minutes and minutes upon minutes.
Yeah.
Like you just cut to like multiple angles of him just like, and he's not even playing it well. He's just like, he's not actually making any music.
Yeah, I feel like they got Eddie Van Halen as their guitar solo expert for this episode. How long should a guitar solo be, Eddie? Oh, as long as possible.
And then you see Dave Lee Roth just like punch his fists into his open hand.
Yep, exactly. But anyway, so Elizabeth Berkley reveals that she's got a crush on Cody, or she fell in love with Cody during this show somehow. And so JT's all pissed off, so he fires Cody from the show. I don't know what that's supposed to do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's just like immediately, you're off the fucking show, Cody.
Like, I guess it's revenge, because it's not going to change the way she feels, I wouldn't think.
He'll have plenty of time to hang out, if you know what I mean, if he's on the show.
Exactly.
We already know he's into underage chicks, so
yep.
What's going to stop him?
He's got that van already.
Yeah, he's got a van.
A windowless van that Frank allows him to keep in their driveway, where he sleeps.
Yeah, mere feet away from the underage girl he's obsessing over.
Yeah, her and Elizabeth Berkley ended up going out, but then Elizabeth got a couple black eyes. So,
jeez.
Anyway, so for those of you that don't understand that joke, just look up Sasha, whatever his name is,
Mitchell.
Sasha Mitchell. Yeah,
Sasha Mitchell Cohen.
Yep. So anyway. Frank figures out what's going on real quickly. And like there's no effort into him figuring this out. He has a 5-second conversation with Cody and it's like, oh, okay, there's a girl involved. Now I know what's going on. And basically,
Cody, you have every right to fuck this underage girl. I'm going to talk to my son about this.
Yep. He berates Cody, or he berates JT for getting rid of him for a girl. And then eventually JT does the right thing and brings him back. And then we never see Elizabeth Berkley again.
Well, we barely saw JT's role ever again. They had it like maybe a couple other episodes they mentioned it, but it was like a very did not work immediately kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. And then there was a subplot of Frank and Carol taking a compatibility quiz that consists of one question, apparently.
Yeah, it's like how long would you wait to go out with somebody after your spouse died, I think?
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially it. You're stranded on a desert island, and there is no possibility of rescue. You're there with a beautiful woman. How long would you wait before you slept with them? That's the question. and she wrote forever, and he wrote 6 months. So she was all pissed off, and then he very obviously hired the two girls to entrap her into saying that she'd like to be on a desert island with Mel Gibson.
Ooh.
Because apparently she doesn't like Jews, I guess. I don't know.
Jeez.
But,
She's
so...
blonde.
Yeah, that's true. So, that worked out for him, and he was able to get her back. But, yeah, I don't know. Mike, how long would you wait if you were stranded on a desert island?
I don't know. I mean, probably a while, just because, I would think you'd be able to be, rescued.
Yeah, that's the thing is...
But at the same time, she's not getting any younger.
But that's the thing, like, if you think about it, would sleeping with the woman basically be giving up that you'll ever be rescued? I think that's what it would turn out to be.
Maybe you need to have some kind of prophylactic though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you don't want kids on that island.
Oh God, no.
How are you gonna feed them?
What are you gonna feed them?
Exactly. It's a deserted island. So
how about you, Mark?
How long would I wait?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I guess maybe a year. I think it would probably take me about a year to give up hope. If we hadn't been rescued in a year, then I'd be like, all right, we're not getting back.
And right when you start doing the deed, your wife parachutes in. I finally found you.
I'll ask Carol later how long she'll wait. And, it's still a girl, though, not a guy.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Right,
You'd have
exactly.
to wait twice as long.
But anyway, so now we'll move on to whatever it's called, Keeping Current with Mike, where we plumb the depths of all the stuff and see all the gossip and figure it out and try to decide, is this good gossip? What do you think? Do you like this gossip? Where are we going?
We're going to one of my favorite websites, bossip.com.
Oh, we're back to Bossip.
Haven't been there in a bit. I'm on there. I follow them on Twitter, though. It's a lot of fun.
Bossip was my favorite one that we ever did.
Yeah, and I kind of know the people on there more than like the other ones, so it's helpful, or maybe not. I don't know, depending on what you enjoy from the segment.
Yeah, I guess. Our most popular segment, I don't know why, but it is.
Shantae wept. Judge Faith Jenkins reveals her engagement to Kitty Lattimore on Instagram.
Okay.
What do you think about that headline, Mark?
I don't know any names. I don't know what it's talking about at all. I recognized the word Instagram.
Is this a real judge? I don't know anything about it. Kitty Lattimore, the name sounds like I've heard that name before, but no, I could not tell you who that was. You could tell me he's on Days of Our Lives, or he's a starting center for the Denver Nuggets, and I'd be okay. Yeah, that sounds right.
All right. Well, apparently Kenny Lattimore is an American singer. He is an R&B singer and songwriter.
I don't think I do know who he is then.
He's known for, let's see, so his albums, Kenny Lattimore, From the Soul of Man, Weekend, Timeless, Vulnerable. He's charted not great, but
is this a candidate for our new segment? How do they survive?
I think so. Yeah, because he's started his career.
He probably tours.
Or he first charted in 1996. Okay, I mean his song "Never Too Busy" did reach number 2 on the U.S. adult R&B charts. It was, overall it was 89, and for R&B in particular, it was 19. You got to go to U.S. adult R&B. But he did have a number 6 hit. So his highest charting hit was "For You" from 1997. I'm not sure that I'm aware of that song. But
I guess he's like a guest on a lot of albums and gets royalties from that. Possibly,
because from that point on, from 97 on, most of his songs didn't really chart, and those that did, they charted in like the low 30s on the U.S. adult R&B, and not at all on the regular R&B or the U.S. charts. So not great. A Kenny Lattimore Christmas he did.
Nice.
He did that album. That sounds great. But oh yes, album appearances and collaborations. You are totally right.
See,
So he's been on albums with Ray J, Peter White, Heather Headley, Brian Culberson, Heather B.
I
Very,
think that's a Spice Girl, isn't it?
very luminary.
Oh, that's Melanie B, I think.
Yeah. I don't know any of these people he's guested with, but
Oh, Ray J.
well, yeah, I know Ray J, but only because he had sex with Kim Kardashian.
And his sister is Brandy, and I think he was on the Brandy show too.
He
The
did.
Moesha.
Yeah, he was in that. He was in that movie Steel with Shaq.
Oh yeah.
He did the song "Love Will Find a Way" from Lion King 2, Simba's Pride.
There you go.
So he's probably rolling on that sweet Lion King 2 stuff. What was the rest of the headline? Somebody wept and something else happened?
Shantae wept because Judge Faith Jenkins is now engaged to this Kenny Lattimore guy.
All right, let's see. Who is Judge Faith Jenkins?
I think that's the only person I might actually know because I'm pretty familiar with the judge programs on TV.
Okay, well, she's an American attorney. And let's see, she's Judge Faith, a daytime court show where she
I think I've
renders
seen that one.
decisions.
Yeah, I believe I've seen that one.
This is the most generic thing I've ever read in my life. She was also a television arbitrator on Judge Faith, a daytime court show where she rendered decisions in a television courtroom.
Right.
What else would it be?
I don't know.
Apparently her show's off the air though.
Oh, she's with Kenny Lattimore. She doesn't need to work anymore.
Exactly. She's got that sweet, sweet Simba 2 money. So somebody didn't like it, I guess. Is that a guy or a girl? I don't understand.
I'm guessing it's like some lady. Maybe she was already married to Kenny Lattimore. I don't know.
Could be. Who knows?
Okay,
What a
this
world.
next headline is even more bewildering. There's a hashtag and it's LHHH. Then it's a semicolon. No, it's a colon. It says Brittany B got all-time all caps dragged for her all caps struggle vocals after weeks of talking all that ish.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's internet slang overload.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously they're saying ish because, they can't say shit for some reason because they're not adults.
Right.
I don't know who Brittany B is.
LHHH. So let's hear how. I don't know. Okay. Love and Hip Hop Hollywood.
Okay, yeah, I thought Love and Hip Hop was part of it, but it wasn't. I thought they only had an Atlanta show, so that didn't make sense to me.
Love and Hip Hop Hollywood is the third installment of the Love and Hip Hop reality television franchise. It's been on since September 15th, 2014.
This specific one or the whole franchise?
This specific one.
Wow.
It predates the Ghostbusters reboot.
It does, by quite a bit.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay. Well, good for them. They're having a successful show, but I guess this Brittany B lady just can't sing is what they're trying to tell us after, a lot of shit talking. Mm-hmm. So she either had like a single or an album and like people were just ripping on her. So I just don't know who this person is. Maybe she's probably just from the show. I don't know.
Ray J was also on the show. That's so funny. So this show says it says cast members. I don't know what they're doing because it's a reality show, so I don't understand any of this. But Ray J, Lil Fizz.
Lil Fizz.
Of course, you gotta have Lil Fizz.
Kenny Lattimore.
I'm Ryan, Soulja Boy.
Oh, Marion.
Oh, okay. Keisha Cole, Lyrica Anderson, Brooke Valentine, Yo-Yo, and K. Michelle. Interesting.
They're trying to put us out of the biz.
Exactly. Scripting allegations. Oh no. Love and Hip Hop is often criticized for appearing to fabricate much of its storyline. Scott Young has denied those claims. Quote, I can't stress enough that the stuff they deal with on Love and Hip Hop is real. We may frame it within a production construct that allows us to shoot on a schedule, but we're not making up the stuff that they're going through. All right.
I think we can both agree that the Scott, what's his name again?
Hamilton?
Scott Hunt. Scott Hamilton guy is a small fish.
Yeah, exactly. He is a small fish. Scott Young.
He couldn't tell if they were faking it, if he knew.
Oh, apparently,
Thank you, Mark.
apparently not a guy and not Scott Young. I mean, sort of, but it's a girl whose name is Mona Scott Young. Because she's married to Sean Young.
Yep, she knows it all. Listen to her.
Leave It to Stevie. She produced a show called Leave It to Stevie.
Jeez, with Stevie Wonder?
Stevie J. I don't know who that is.
I thought it was like Stevie Wonder getting into hijinks if you can't see. Like Mr. Magoo, but with Stevie Wonder. And then every episode he played like a beautiful song at the end. With a lesson about like, don't go on the construction site.
Right. I just called to say I fell down a manhole cover. All right. What's next?
Oh, let's see. I think I might be out, but one more. Maybe there's one.
All right. I have faith that Bossip can get us through.
This is a weird one for Bossip. Mealy in the motherland. South Africa suffers wave of xenophobic violence against foreigners and migrants.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it seemed like a kind of a weird headline from Bossip, but apparently it's going on in South Africa.
All right. I
I
don't
heard it from Bossip.
I don't know that I don't know that I have a joke to make about, horrifying things happening in South Africa, but
It was kind of weird.
it is strange for Bossip to be reporting that, but good for you, Bossip.
Oh, here's one. Do you know who Malik Yoba is?
No.
Well, you're never going to believe this. Malik Yoba opens up about his attraction to transgender women while addressing homophobia and transphobia.
Interesting.
It doesn't sound like him.
No, not at all. It really doesn't sound like him.
Good for you, Malik Yoba.
You know what's weird is that when I Googled Melee in the Motherland for Google Images, the first image from 11 hours ago is a group of men in a truck with shotguns and everything like that.
Yeah, that's what the picture was.
The third image over is Laura from Family Matters. It's just a picture of her like circa 1992 or something like that from Family. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
Her
that
name's
is
Kelly McClure or something? Kelly something in real life.
Kelly, yeah, something. She's got a weird name. Kelly Shanyangi Williams.
Is that her name now?
Yeah.
Huh, where did the Williams come from?
I don't know. What the fuck? Well, I don't know. Because she's married to someone named Hannibal Jackson.
What? That's a sweet name, by the way, Hannibal Jackson.
Hannibal Jackson.
Oh, you motherfucker. What's up, man?
Oh, wow. Hannibal Jackson.
I'm going to change my name to Hannibal Jackson.
Good for you, sir. Good for you, Hannibal Jackson. Known for being...
Me?
known for being Kelly Shangye Williams' husband. That's what it says.
Good for him.
That is what he's known for. Marriage location, Fort Washington, Maryland. That is the only information that Google has on him.
Well, obviously, Hannibal Jackson's in the the secret ops kind of line of work.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's Maryland, where the Marines are based.
Yep, he's a spy. That's
Yeah,
what.
not
That's
too
why
far
you.
away from
That's why you can't. That's why there's nothing about him, and that's why his name is Hannibal Jackson.
Whenever you say the name Hannibal Jackson, you're basically saying we have something we really need a good person for. Like, get me Hannibal Jackson.
Exactly.
Sir, but they're at a Family Matters 20th reunion tour. Get him for me. And then Jaleel White, like he's good friends with them, so he just kind of like shows up sometimes too.
We need to write this movie. We need to write this movie about Laura's husband, Hannibal Jackson, being a spy. I love this right now.
And he's also friends with Jaleel White.
Yep, that's right. And we can make him do that. We can make Jaleel White do that voice again at 50 or however old he is.
And then we'll have Steve show up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I saw this show on Vice TV. I don't know. I think it was Action Bronson. I think the whole show was like him just like getting like his celebrity friends high, and Jaleel White was a celebrity friend. It was very odd.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, he's been kind of in more things lately. Like he was in the that roast, his historic roast show that Jeff Ross had.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it was really bad.
I never saw any of it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, it was something. Well, that's all I have for keeping current with Mike.
All right, let's move on to the Parents Guide game. So this is where Mike and I read the Parents Guide on IMDb, and the other one tries to guess. I mean, everyone might be new. I don't know. You guys should, just figure it out. Don't make this the first one you listen to. And if you've already done that, go back to, I don't know, a couple before this and listen to that one first. And then I probably won't describe it there either, but it'll work out. So Mike, today I've got two movies that I'm pretty sure you've seen both of these. Maybe not, but I think you've seen both of them.
All right, Mark.
All right, so now let's start with violence and gore. Let's see. Several times, people are killed both on and off screen with minimal blood and cheesy effects. That's a judgment call that I don't know that I would agree with, but it's the judgment of them. Minimal blood and cheesy effects.
True Lies.
Nope.
A girl is kissing a boy. She goes down his body and it's implied that he receives oral sex.
Wow. Okay. Ace Ventura.
No.
Let's see. Profanity. 25 F words in the special edition. Maybe some goddams. I haven't seen the movie, but... Maybe some goddams. I haven't seen the movie, but so other people will watch it thinking it doesn't say it, and it does for somebody who doesn't want to hear it. So look it up somewhere else, or read the script or something to figure it out, or watch the subtitles, or type in the title of the film, goddamn, to see if a clip of when it comes up. Basically, this person just said, I don't know, maybe there are some goddams in it. I haven't seen it. Look it up somewhere else.
Jeez.
11 uses of the F word, 14 more in the special edition, getting us to the 25. Around 15 uses of the S word. Several uses of ass, damn, hell, asshole, bastard, bitch, son of a bitch, and crap. Nothing over the top in this category.
And crap.
Yeah. And then they admit nothing over the top in this category.
I have no clue as usual. I'm going to guess. Point Break.
Nope.
They have sex. Nothing graphic is shown. When then the date wakes up, she is gone. Sorry, that's not my poor grammar.
Right. Yeah, probably the same guy that wrote this thing about the goddams. All right. So, let's see. Wait, did you say when she wakes up, the date is gone, or when he wakes up, the date is gone?
When he wakes up, she is gone.
Oh, okay. I will say Trainwreck.
No.
No, she doesn't give him a blowjob in that movie.
Sir.
Oh, yeah, it's my turn. There are a few scenes with smoking. The main character smokes in a few scenes, as does another character. Someone else smokes cigars frequently.
The A-Team movie?
No? Oh, that was a really good guess, though.
As you say, I didn't see that.
Based on the cigar thing, too. And we did A-Team, last week or whatever, so. Yeah, that would have been a good one, but I didn't do it.
A teen boy vomits all over a girl's almost bare breast.
Is this super bad?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, that does happen in super bad. Let's see. Or no, he doesn't. Does he vomit? No, she vomits.
No. Yeah.
Let's see.
Have you even seen Superbad, Mark?
Maybe once. Let's see. When the team starts waking up, they are all in their underwear. No nudity visible at all.
Is this Jeepers Creepers 2?
No.
I haven't seen it, but I assume that happens.
Yeah, well, if it's, Los Predados directed it, so.
Right. One of the characters is seen vomiting in the toilet.
Okay, so lots of vomiting. A guy vomits on a girl. This sounds somewhat familiar, I think. Is it... No. The Hangover?
No.
Let's see. Frightening and intense scenes. Those special and visual effects tend to get outdated in a decade or so and become unrealistic. This film's special effects are done so well, they still look somewhat scary by today's standards. Children growing up seeing only CGI monsters may be frightened by the antagonists in this film really being present and in front of the camera. So, because of the practical effects.
Is it Gremlins?
No? You're getting closer, though.
I thought I had you on that one. One of the characters... Sorry.
It's okay.
One of the characters is seen having diarrhea after another character puts laxative in his mochaccino.
Oh, American Pie.
We went from vomit to diarrhea, which is what was making me laugh.
Yeah, American Pie. Okay, yep, I remember that.
We're done with the vomit talk.
All right, so I'll give you a little bit easier one. There's some names in here that you might recognize, character names. Vasquez shoots an alien, which sprays its acid blood on Drake's face, which kills him. His face can be seen being burned, but it isn't very graphic.
I don't know how I didn't get that it was aliens earlier.
Yeah, I thought when I started reading when the team wakes up and they're all in their underwear, I was like, maybe that might give it to him.
Oh, it gave it to me already.
All right, so now, game number 2. If I can... There we go. Okay. So, let's see. Under sex and nudity, this is the only one I read previously, the only one of these entries that I read previously, but it made me laugh then, and it makes me chuckle now. At a scene in a night... Okay, so this is under sex and nudity. At a scene in a nightclub, but it's just a nightclub with people dancing with each other in suggestive ways, but nothing bad at all.
What?
It's such a weird sentence. Sex and nudity, and this is the entire sentence verbatim. At a scene in a nightclub, but it's just a nightclub with people dancing with each other in suggestive ways, but nothing bad at all.
What?
Why? First of all, the sentence makes no sense. Second of all, why is it under sex and nudity then?
I don't know. Terminator.
Nope.
This is under sex and nudity. Bare breast shown for extended period.
Ooh, nice. I've probably seen it then. Striptease.
No.
Okay. Let's see. Also under sex and nudity. A man sees a woman's photo in which she was lying on the floor and wearing just a pantyhose and bikini. Camera zooms from her toes to face.
Is this a Quentin Tarantino movie?
Because it's from the feet.
Yeah. Ace Ventura.
Nope.
A man has his cheek scratched by a pair of car keys.
Friday the 13th.
No.
There are gunshot wounds on the chest and the backs of a few people.
No Country for Old Men?
No.
Oh, hold on. I had to sit and stop laughing. A woman is stabbed multiple times in the chest and vagina with a pair of scissors, resulting in a brutal death. Blood is visible on her face, head, and chest.
Wow.
I remember that part of this movie.
Chest and vagina with scissors. Evil Dead?
No.
Let's see. Some people get their bodies slammed against walls. Not very brutal. Is that a commentary on something in the movie, or is it just a regular like observation? You know, some people get their bodies slammed against the walls. Not very brutal.
Is this the A-Team episode we watched last week?
No. That would be hilarious, though.
Yeah, no. Are we allowed to do TV shows as well? That might make it really difficult.
Yeah, I guess we can extend it to TV shows.
I just still said it would make it more difficult. Sure.
You'd have to, I guess, so if we did TV shows, it would just be guessing the TV show, right? We wouldn't have to guess the actual episode.
I guess. Huh. Shit. The Arrival.
No.
Sorry, this one is also funny to me. A teenage boy is bullied by a group of other teenage boys. They grab his legs and smash his crotch against a flagpole.
Holy shit!
What the fuck?
So you got girls being stabbed to death with in her vagina. And a guy being, quote, bullied. I think that's more than bullying.
That's bullying his whole DNA structure.
Oh my god. Shit. It sounds like a comedy now.
It's not. That's the funny part.
Okay. Fuck. Wow. Friday the 13th, part 10.
No.
Okay. Let's see. Also under violence and gore, one man gets zapped by a laser gun, and we see his charred, bloody arm.
Huh. It's not Terminator?
Nope.
Total Recall.
Nope.
Huh. All right, mine is, this is actually a big clue, so pay attention. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. Snorting substances and smoking.
Snorting substances. So, I mean, I guess it could... Oh, RoboCop? No.
No.
Yeah, I knew... As soon as I said it, I knew it wasn't RoboCop. Because I was thinking of movies where they're snorting drugs that isn't cocaine.
Right.
Let's see. Let me do the profanity.
You can take nuke in the neck, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You do. 4 uses of goddamn, all except one are whispered to one another. And the other one is yelled. But it's said very quick to where you don't really notice it. Shit is said 32 times. 12 uses of damn, including damn it, etc. Are there other forms of that? 9 uses of hell, 2 uses of crap, 5 uses of ass. Strong language, including F words, play in a song in the end credits.
Team America?
No.
Let's see here. A dead woman's body falls on top of a teenage girl while she is hiding in a closet.
Well, this definitely sounds like a slasher movie. Scream?
No.
Although the violence is glamorized, it mostly has a light tone and is not disturbing.
Natural Born Killers?
No.
Huh. Sorry, I just saw the smash his crotch. It's the flagpole thing again. Let's see, I'm running out of ones that aren't obvious. A man has all 4 fingers of one hand cut off when a young man attacks him with a machete-like paper slicer.
Oh, that sounds familiar too. The Faculty?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And then he goes, at least I didn't get my crotch smashed against a flagpole. I don't remember that at all.
I don't either.
I don't want to rewatch it now.
Okay, so as per our rules, I will give one. I don't really want to say the main character's name because just saying the main character's name will give away the movie. So let me find one without the main character's name, but I think should give it to you. And then I want to read you one that I think should be the tagline of the film. A man is seen naked when he is, quote, awoken from the artificial constructs, but his genitals are not shown at any point.
Is this what is it? Oh shit. The Sylvester Stallone movie?
No.
See, I thought that again sounds like a Terminator movie. I thought it was what's the fuck is that? Judge no. What's that movie called? Damn it, I can't remember the movie where he fights Wesley Snipes in the future.
Oh, Demolition Man.
Yeah, I thought it was that, but you're saying it's not that or Terminator?
No. So here, I'll read you this.
Are you including Terminator 2 in the Terminator question?
Yeah, it's not anything to do with the Terminator. So, here's one. I think this should give it to you, and it's got no names. If you don't get it from this, I'll do the name. But one man tells another that he can, quote, hook him up with a woman in a red dress. She walks by.
The Matrix?
Yes.
Huh, that's weird. I don't know why I didn't pick up on any of these.
I don't remember the part where someone gets a taser or whatever it is to charred arm. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
But
where the guy got his crotch smashed into a flagpole.
So under violence and gore, one of them just says constant martial arts violence. I think that should be a tagline to The Matrix. The Matrix, constant martial arts violence. Oh, all right. So now let's do an ad. Let's do a promo for a fabulous show on the network. Last week we did Things I Found Online, which I'm sure you enjoyed. This week we're doing somebody else, and I'll probably mention who that is next week when we play a promo for someone else who I didn't look up. So this is another show on the network, and what a great show they are, and they just do all the things. So listen to them.
Hey, we're Renee.
And Adrian.
And we are
The Outlandish Historians. We're sisters.
Nerds.
And lovers of all things history.
Except bell bottoms. Keep that in the past.
Come hang out with us on the Dear World of History podcast, where we'll frolic through time
as we chat and geek out over the good, the bad, and the downright ugly history of the world.
We promise you don't have to be a licensed historian to travel through time with us.
Maritime disasters?
Check.
Historical serial killers?
Check.
Glamorous and petty royals?
Check and check. You can find us almost anywhere you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Follow us on Twitter at Dear Historians and Instagram at Outlandish Historians.
So chug that drink me bottle and come on down the rabbit hole. It's going to be a wild ride.
So that was that show. And now on to what we're watching. Mike, you and I talked about it last week. We watched the same thing this week, which we don't always do, as you know, frequent listener knows. But that's Alex, the frequent listener. But we watched the same thing this week. We watched Dave Chappelle's new stand-up, Sticks and Stones.
Oh, I didn't watch it, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I
watched it. I didn't rewatch it, which I meant to do. But the weekend came up fast with Labor Day and kids' first day back at school and all that fun stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw Norm Macdonald's joke about Labor Day, but it just didn't work.
Nope.
But yes, so Sticks and Stones getting a little controversy, which, I didn't even, I'll profess my ignorance. I didn't even realize he had a new stand-up special on Netflix until you mentioned it. And then I didn't really read anything about it until after I'd watched it and formed my opinion on it. And then I started reading there was all this controversy for it. Now, obviously, we can't, it's not like a TV show or a movie. We're not going to break down the stand-up special because there's no plot. We're not going to go like blow by blow. So I guess we can kind of talk about what we thought of it and some of the controversy surrounding it. But Mike, first of all, did you enjoy this special? Where would you rank it amongst Dave Chappelle's like different stand-up specials?
It's really hard to rank because any like special by Chappelle is going to be pretty much better than anybody else's special. Like, I thought this was kind of a mediocre one for him just because he's kind of tread the same ground before. Mm-hmm. And I really like. There's something about like the way he like when he'll tell a joke and he'll just kind of like pretend to walk off stage. I really am kind of annoyed by that. Like, I don't think he really needs to do something like that.
Yeah.
And also, it just kind of seems to me like he's kind of like dumbing his jokes down towards his audience. He's like super intelligent guy, but it seems he's kind of like pandering a bit.
Yeah, I see that a little bit too.
Yeah, I definitely liked it. I mean, I didn't think it was as good as his other specials that he had recently on Netflix. And I don't really think I've seen all of Killing Them Softly. I don't think I've seen all that. I might have in bits and pieces. I mean, it's not bad, but I mean, it's not his best work. Like, maybe it took place too quickly after his most recent special. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's the thing is, so I agree with you, and I thought this was, maybe towards the middle, maybe even like towards the bottom third of stand-up specials I've seen from him. I was not incredibly impressed by it, at least, as you pointed out, as far as a Dave Chappelle special goes. Now, that doesn't mean it was terrible. I don't think it was terrible, but all the other ones that are currently available on Netflix, I watched the other ones too, just kind of for context and everything. I have a lot more time on my hands than Mike does, and I've sort of and this was all before I read anything about any of the quote unquote controversy of it. I thought, yeah, these are better, and like you said, a lot of it is stuff that he's talked about before. You go into the Michael Jackson stuff that's one of the controversial things where he talks about how he doesn't believe that Michael Jackson did it and everything. He's mentioned that in almost every special he's ever had, he's said something about Michael Jackson and how he doesn't think Michael Jackson committed these crimes.
Yeah, to be fair though, he just kind of heads that. He's like, well, but I mean, even if so, it's Michael Jackson. It's like he obviously is like a huge like icon for a lot of people. So.
Yeah, I've never gotten it, to be totally honest with you. And here's my hot take. I'll say something that I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with out there, but I've never been a huge Michael Jackson fan. As far as
me either. I'm not a big pop music fan in general.
Yeah, but as far as his music goes, his music has always just been okay to me. Like it's very generic. Like, to me, it's very generic, like 80s. Like, it's good. I think his what set him apart, to be honest, is his dancing, which obviously, because he was a very good dancer, but, that's obviously something that, you could only see on MTV and videos, or if you watched him live, which obviously you can't now.
Oh, but you can if you go to the hologram shows.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. But yeah, so I've never been a huge fan of his music. I understand that to Dave Chappelle, who's probably, the right age and everything, and when he was growing up, I'm sure that was the hot shit and everything, that's a huge hero for him. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's hard to look objectively at your heroes, I guess. He doesn't want to believe that Michael Jackson was capable of this because he has an image of Michael Jackson in his head that he doesn't want tarnished by the reality.
Yeah, even on the Dave Chappelle show, he had like a joke, about like how he refused to believe like black celebrities were guilty.
Yeah,
and one was Michael Jackson, and his only excuse was like Thriller. Like that's all he had to say. He's like, that's his only good excuse.
Yeah, exactly. I remember the funniest part about that is the prosecutor says, well, what would you say if I told you that the young man was able to describe Michael Jackson's penis? And he's like, well, I've never seen Michael Jackson's penis. I'm pretty sure I could describe it. A head, a shaft, couple balls, some pubic hair, probably with some glitter sprinkled in it, right? And then the funny part about it is the prosecutor just kind of looks down defeated and goes, "That is correct."
Yeah, but yeah, he's it's actually a frequent subject of his. I mean, I don't understand why it's controversial. I mean, even if he legitimately does not believe these, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that, like, if you don't believe everything someone that you don't even know says, you're a bad person, which is part of the point of his special to begin with.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, okay, so one of the criticisms that I read was that he was defending basically people with power or people with privilege. Michael Jackson, I guess maybe they throw R. Kelly in there. I don't know. He clearly does not defend R. Kelly in what he's talking about. But Louis C.K., they mention that. So they mention that he's defending people that were in positions of power and really don't need to be defended and things like that. And that's not what comedy's about. But as one of my favorite comedians out there as well, or at least, I don't know, maybe I should call him just a one-man show person, but Colin Quinn, who also has a new one-man show on Netflix that I watched, as he says, I hear all the time, that comedians are supposed to punch down. Punch down. We never punch up or whatever. Or we're supposed to punch up. We never punch down. I've read that from, 100 different people who have never done comedy in their life. So it's like, there is no, this is what comedy is supposed to be. The beautiful thing about comedy is that it's unique to everyone. Everyone has their own point of view. Comedy is basically Socrates or Plato with a laugh track. It's people giving what they think, their observations or their insight to how they look at the world and think about the world in funny ways, in ways that is designed to make audiences laugh. It either points out the absurdity of things, or it makes analogies in humorous ways, or it's a bait and switch. There are many different forms that comedy can take, stand-up comedy can take. But in the end, this is what I think about the world around us, and that's what I want you to know. That's the art form of comedy, and that can, like I said, that can take any form. You can punch up, you can punch down, you can punch sideways. That it's however it's going to be. And I think Eddie Murphy said it perfectly on Jerry Seinfeld's thing when he said the difference was people are uncomfortable. And I think it was Eddie Murphy. Maybe I think it was him. It might have been Ricky Gervais, but I think it was Eddie Murphy, where he said people are uncomfortable if they think you don't know what you're saying is bad. You don't know that what you're saying is politically incorrect, and stuff like that. Then that's not funny. That becomes uncomfortable. But when it's clear you know what you're saying, you're not supposed to be saying, then then you can find the humor in it. And I think that's exactly right. It comes down to what you know and what you project that you know. And I think it's pretty clear that Dave Chappelle doesn't think that what he's saying is correct or should be correct, whether it's Michael Jackson or his, as self-admittedly, his friend Louis C.K. Any of the defense of these people that have done bad things. I don't think he thinks, hey, this is right, what I'm saying. He's just saying, this is what I think about things. And yeah, I know I'm not supposed to say this stuff. He even says that before he says the Michael Jackson thing. He says, I'm going to say something I know I'm not supposed to say.
I find the idea that people aren't supposed to say things is just ridiculous. I mean, obviously, in the comedy world over the past 10 years, there's been so much, people taking jokes out of context. It's like people don't even understand the whole purpose of, stand-up comedy anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, this is another thing that Colin Quinn points out, where they say, well, you can't make jokes about this because some, Nazi living in Nebraska or whatever is going to think that you're being serious about what you're saying. And Colin Quinn's like, so I have to tailor my act to a Nazi in Nebraska now? That's
Right.
He's like, that's exactly the opposite of what I wanted to do when I went into comedy. Now I've got to tailor it to these specific audience. No, I'm not doing that. And it's like, yeah, exactly. People are going to take things how they take things. It's the same thing with violent video games or violence on TV or in music or whatever. People are going to take things the way they take it. You're going to interpret something however it's a factor of how you were raised, what you've experienced, what you've seen, your thought process in the moment. There are so many things that you bring to you for your interpretation that the artist might not want you to interpret it that way at all. But that's not the artist's fault, because the artist can't tailor their message to every single person individually. It has to be taken. And if they tried to, the art form would lose all of its artistry. Stephen King once said, and I think this is true of all forms of art, basically, but he said this about writing. Stephen King once said that imagination begins in the writer's head, but it has to finish in the reader's head. That's the connection in writing. And I think that's true of stand-up comedy, of music, of TV, of movies, of every art form, every form of artistic expression. I think that's true. You can't spell everything out. You have to start the process. The creator starts the process and has what they think people should get out of this or the point of view that they want to get across. And then everyone interprets it a certain way. But you can't kill an artist because of how people interpret things. That's just, yeah. And I saw one of the accusers of Michael Jackson saying that he was upset and everything about this Dave Chappelle thing. You're upset that some people don't believe you? I mean, I'm sorry. Just because he's on TV with a comedy special, he doesn't have to believe you. I happen to think he's wrong, and I think most people out there probably do think he's wrong, because I think most people out there probably think that Michael Jackson did the stuff that he's accused of. But what's it matter? What's it matter if he believes you or not? That doesn't change the truth. Him believing you doesn't make it not happen to you, and it doesn't make it easier for you. Healing from something like that is something you have to go through personally, and the legal fight, is what it is. You need to convince 12 jurors, not Dave Chappelle, because he's not going to be on that jury. So what does it matter what he thinks about it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, but yeah, that's one of the. I don't understand how it's a controversy, but people think, like you just said, people think that, everyone believes the accusers of Michael Jackson and no one believes the opposite. I mean, there are so many people who believe that Michael Jackson didn't do any of this stuff that it's like, it's a lot. So you shouldn't be surprised.
My own mom, whose birthday would have been today, by the way.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, she never believed it. She said, no, I think he probably... She says a lot of types of the stuff that Dave Chappelle did, and she was never like an enormous Michael Jackson fan or anything, but she would say, look, his dad abused him when he was a kid, beat him, up and all this stuff and everything. I don't think that he actually molested any of these kids. I think he just liked these kids, and he liked he liked being a kid because he didn't have a childhood when he was younger because of the stuff that his dad did to him. So she said, so I don't think that he did any of this. That was her thought process based simply on that stuff. Now, maybe not the best evidence to base an opinion on, but that was, that was what she thought. And there are other people that believe that too. And there are people that believe that he did it. What we believe doesn't matter though. If I had been molested by anybody, whether it was Michael Jackson or anyone else, what other people believed wouldn't matter so much to me as getting justice for this situation. And you don't get justice in the court of public opinion. You get justice in through the justice system. So that's what I would be focused on. I mean, I guess if this guy's upset about it, he has every right to be upset about it. That's fine. But you can't say now Dave Chappelle needs to get canceled because of that. You can, you have the ability to say, I don't like what he says, and I think that he's wrong. Or that I know he's wrong because I did experience this abuse at his hands. He has the right to say that, and then good. The court of public opinion and everything will weigh in on it. Like I said, I think Dave Chappelle's a very funny comedian. I think he's totally wrong about Michael Jackson. I think Michael Jackson absolutely did all this stuff. That's my belief based on things that I have read over the years. I'm not saying I'm right. I could be completely wrong too. Dave Chappelle and my mom might be completely right about it, and maybe nothing happened, with these kids other than a bunch of sleepovers. That's not what the evidence seems to point to me. But what does it matter? It doesn't. And that's the thing. Are we not supposed to ever talk about any of this stuff? Somebody accuses Michael Jackson of molesting them. Are we just supposed to be like, okay, well, he's guilty and no discussion? We're not going to look at any evidence or, forget it. No, we're not going to talk about any ideas. That's really what we want society to be. Nobody talks through ideas anymore. There can never be any dissenting opinions. Everyone has to always agree. That's the biggest problem. And that's a death knell to comedy, is that everyone always has to agree type thing. Comedy is going against... So for instance, in the 60s, there was a ton of censorship and things like that. People like Lenny Bruce and everything couldn't use, and George Carlin couldn't use, certain swear words in their act. They'd get charged with obscenity fines and things like that. They get thrown in jail. It happened. And there were that was kind of like how society was. So they did it. Comedy stood up to everything society was telling them they shouldn't do. They did, because that's what comedy does. Now society's saying you can't talk about transgendered people. You can't make jokes about gay people. You can't make jokes about rape. You can't claim that Michael Jackson was innocent of his crimes, and on and on and on, all these stuff. And people are surprised that comedians are doing the opposite. Comedians always do the opposite. Comedians always see what's going on in society and say, fuck that. I'm going to do what I want to do. That there's always a faction of comedians that do that. And Dave Chappelle is one of those types of comedians. So I don't understand why anyone is surprised or why anyone thinks that this is... When I saw that this was controversial, I was like, what? I couldn't believe that this show was considered controversial. I was like, for the transgendered stuff again, that he seems so on the side of transgendered people that it's amazing to me.
Yeah, but he's Simply saying to him is confusing, which, I mean, I can understand that, feeling or opinion. I don't understand the whole, it doesn't make sense to me. I've never felt that way, so I can't really relate, but, I mean, it's your body. You have one life as far as I know, so do what you want with it.
Yep, exactly.
But you still find it odd, I mean, that's how people, talk about uncomfortable things through joking. That's, what comedy does. It kind of is society's it coming to the forefront where you're able to say the darkest thing and try and make it put a twist on it. Is that okay to talk about? Is that something that we should be not speaking?
Yep. And the best part of the special to me was where he's talking about the car, the LGBTQ community, and how they're all separate movements, but they ride in the car together. And the G's are driving because there are white men in the G's, and they know how to navigate through oppression and and all that stuff. And then the L's are in the driver's seat, and they don't like the G's don't like the L's, which is kind of true. Having known some gay men in my life, I don't know exactly why either. I feel like maybe because lesbians were accepted a lot more readily than gay men were, that they're a little pissed off about that. That's my guess. But they do have a little bit of a contentious relationship. And then the B's in the back seat.
I mean, they're really the polar opposite of them. They're, instead of being men who are only attracted to men, they're women who are only attracted to women.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't get more opposite than that.
Exactly. But then he talks about the B's, and everything. And then he talks about the T's and says that everyone else in the car respects them, but, they resent them because they can't help but think that they're making the trip take a little longer, which I think is a brilliant analogy for what is actually happening when you talk about the LGBTQ movement in this country. I think gay.
Dave Chappelle is without doubt a genius, genius level IQ. Because when you think about comedians, generally the more intelligent you are, the more funny you are. At least that's the stereotype. I mean, he's the funniest comedian out there, and he's effortless with his comedy. He is a very, very, very bright person. And I don't think he really gets enough credit for that, to be honest.
No, I absolutely agree. And I think he has the ability. I think he's a very empathetic person, honestly.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Because I think he has the ability to see these different... He's not part of the LGBTQ community, but he has the ability to see from the outside in what's going on with that movement and make this brilliant analogy to everything. That's also very funny. That to me is the centerpiece and the best part of the bit. And that bit is worthy of any of his specials. Unfortunately, to me anyway, there just weren't enough bits like that in the rest of the special. Some of the other stuff fell a little flat. But
that's only falling flat for Chappelle, because any other comedian would, give a limb to have any of his jokes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this is the best stand-up special for 99% of other stand-up comedians out there. If they did this set, this is the best set they'll ever do. So yeah, as we said before, when we talk about this as far as how good it is or how good it isn't, it's based on the Chappelle scale. So it's not based on an objective scale. On an objective scale, it's, one of the probably, 50 best sets or 100 best sets of all time.
For sure.
Yeah.
It would easily be an either.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that, and like I said, that one bit is better than almost anything that anyone else is doing as far as comedy goes. But that is a brilliant analogy, and I think a right on analogy, because if you look at the marriage equality and things like that, Overfell versus Georgia, and and all those cases and everything, there the gays and lesbians and bisexuals too have come a long way. Obviously there's still a little bit of ways to go, especially in the area of acceptance. But as far as legally goes, I mean, they can get married in all 50 states now. They've come pretty far from where they started, but they all do get kind of grouped together, like Dave Chappelle said, even though they have separate sort of goals. And transgendered people, because that's the big thing now, and it's a hard thing for people to kind of accept. It's a hard bridge for people to cross and everything. And they have a lot farther to go than gay people or lesbians or bisexual people. It does kind of feel like they're slowing things up a little bit. And maybe, homosexuals are a little bit resentful of that. I could totally see that. And like I said, it's a brilliant kind of deconstruction of everything that's going on. And that is, for me, easily the best part of the special. Mike, did you have any other parts that sort of stood out to you that you liked?
No, not really. And again, that was, the issue. It wasn't like some. I felt it wasn't at his best as he was in other specials. But again, he's Dave Chappelle, and that's a completely different scale.
Yeah,
I like the question and answers they had at the end. He did a few shows in Carnegie Hall.
Oh yes.
And they're just kind of fun, and like he just shows like how quick he is. He's just a genius, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I didn't see that right away, honestly, because I turned it off the first time I watched it, because I watched it a couple times. I turned it off, during the credits. So if you haven't seen this yet and you're going to watch this special, let it run through the credits so that you can get to the bonus thing at the end. But because somebody on Facebook, one of my friends on Facebook, pointed it out to me to watch that part, and I said, "Oh, okay." So make sure that you let it run to the end so you can get the bonus. But it's about a half an hour long or so, and yeah, he takes questions and answers, from his shows that he did on Broadway. And he tells a very interesting story about a transgendered woman. And he says he's doing his jokes. He notices her in the audience. She came to all the shows that he was doing in California, or at this one place in California as he was tuning up his act. And he was nervous about it. And he said, but if I can't do it in front of her, then I shouldn't do it at all. So, I need to be able to do this in front of her, which is absolutely correct. So he did it, and he said she laughed harder at those than anyone else in the room. And he said he had a drink with her, afterwards, and they discussed things. And she said, I was reading about you in the New York Times, and I was sad that they said that you had normalized R. Kelly, what he did, by joking about him. And she said it's interesting that they've never said you normalized transgenders by making jokes about us. And it's definitely an interesting point. And I do think comedy has that ability to normalize things. Like, for instance, I guess like Will and Grace, okay? Now, I was never a huge fan of Will and Grace. I know people who were, though. And that was I remember when that came out, it was a big deal because it was one of the first TV shows with openly gay characters about gay issues. And it's a comedy. I don't think the first...
Was it, though?
Well, yeah, but that's the thing is, I don't think the first gay show, the first show about gay people that really focuses on gay people, could have been a drama. Not in 1998, and I don't think in general, when you're trying to break in a new idea or expose America, as a whole to a new concept about things or a group of people or whatever, it's got to be comedy. I mean, there's a reason that The Jeffersons was a comedy, the Cosby Show was a comedy, Good Times was a comedy. There were serious moments in all those shows, but they were all sitcoms at heart. There's a reason for that. There was a reason that Will and Grace was a quote unquote comedy. Comedy does have the ability to normalize things or to expose people to these new ideas, even when it's doing it using stereotypes. Because, for instance, All in the Family. All in the Family, you use stereotypes all the time. And that's one of those ones where Colin Quinn would say, where someone would say to them, like they said to Colin Quinn, well, okay, yeah, we get that Archie Bunker is satire and everything, but, somebody, sitting in their house in Georgia, who's already prejudiced might not realize that it's satire. I could see Norman Lear saying, so I've got a program for him.
Right, and also Archie Bunker is never the hero,
Exactly.
He's always the dumbass who doesn't get what's even going on.
Exactly, and that's the thing is when you use humor in that way and you show you can show the ridiculousness of stereotypes, that can be very powerful.
Yeah, let's be honest. A lot of people have questions. As weird as it is, about different groups, and they always seem like they're a rude thing to ask. But it's, I think, coming from a place of genuine curiosity. But it's even rude to. Everyone likes to kind of pretend that everybody is 100% equal, the same, no differences. But really, the only difference is culture, and culture is such a deep, stain on someone's life that you might be curious about another person's culture, but it's kind of rude to even ask, and that's something again that comedy will kind of bring out to the open to discuss and talk about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's sad in a way that and me. Both Mike and I, probably more me than Mike, but like to talk. Obviously, that's why we have this show, and it really makes me sad that there are either topics or people that just think that you can't talk about things. I think you should be able to talk about anything. Conversation is the beginning of understanding. If you don't understand somebody's culture or somebody's point of view, and if anybody out there listening to this wants to, engage on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and say, look, you're wrong, and Chappelle's stand-up special wasn't good or was harmful or whatever, or controversial, and this is why I think, and I'll absolutely have a conversation with you. I am willing to listen to anyone. I'm willing to change my opinions on things. I like learning about other people's points of view and why they think things. And if you have logical reasons that refute what I think, then it's not impossible to change my opinion at all. When I come across logical reasons that I can't refute, my opinion changes. So I think it's sad that people think that there are things that can't be talked about or things that shouldn't be talked about. And anyone that's a person of color or a transgender person or homosexual, that I think you guys should engage. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I think people in groups that want equal rights and that want to be accepted should engage as many people as possible in conversation, and educate people, let people learn. If people are asking questions like, well, how, I'd love to have a transgender person on the show and just talk to them about when they knew, how they knew, just all this kind of stuff, because I want to know, I want to understand transgendered people better. I want to understand everybody better, because that gives me a broader, a view of the world. And I think conversation can only help us. And I think stand-up comedy is definitely a big part of that.
Exactly.
So that's been Soapbox for the day. I guess that's our episode. As always, tell friends about the show. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook. You can do all that stuff. Like I said, if you have anything you want to say to us, go ahead and at Massive Late Fee, at Late Fee Mike, and let us know what you think about things. If you want Norm Macdonald to guest on the show, just tweet at Norm Macdonald to guest on Massive Late Fee. I've thought about talking about brilliant stand-up comedians. Obviously, Mike and I, anyone who listens to the show regularly knows Mike and I both love Norm Macdonald. My favorite comedian, I think Mike's favorite comedian too. And obviously he is also a genius, goes to the point of, the smarter you are, the funnier you are. He has a small cameo in the Dave Chappelle stand-up too, by the way.
Oh, at the very end?
Yeah, in the credits. He one of the pictures that kind of go through the credits. So there's pictures of him with different people. Jon Stewart's one of them. Norm Macdonald's one of them. They're sitting they're at a bar together, basically.
Was it for the movie Screwed?
No, I think it was just like Norm had come to see him at a club or at a perform or something, or he had come to see Norm perform or something. But it looked like a candid shot.
Oh, that's cool.
But so I've thought about messaging him because he follows us on Twitter. We're one of the few people he follows on Twitter, and I've thought about messaging. I know, that's the thing is I keep thinking like if I message him, maybe he'll unfollow us. And honestly, he might just ignore it either way. So might just never even read it because maybe he never even reads his inbox. If I was a celebrity, I probably would read my inbox.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just tweet at him. If you want him to be on the show, and maybe we'll get him on the show. Anyway, so that is our show for the week. Like and subscribe, do all that stuff. I don't know. Like and subscribe and smash that like button. There's no like button.
I hate that.
I know, I do too. That's why I rarely do it, and that's why I hate doing this, but it really does help in some weird way.
Fair enough.
So we will talk to you next week. Bye.
See you later.